All right, welcome to the Whiskey Cantina. I'm Jared.
I'm Ray.
And this is
Scott.
Scott's here. So Scott is kind enough to join us here in the Whiskey Cantina. We are going to do a 10-year bourbon taste-off challenge. What are we calling it?
It's a full-blown competition. We're not going to do brackets or anything, but we will be naming a winner and a loser at the end of this.
Yeah, and heavy hitters. So we got Basil Hayden, Eagle Rare, Russell 10-year, and then we got the Henry McKenna. So obviously Jim Beam, Buffalo Trace, Wild Turkey, and Heaven Hill, all big name distilleries.
Pretty badass. I mean, the Henry, what's it got going for it? Just about everything. It's bottled in bond. It's 10-year, 100 proof, obviously, because it's bottled in bond. So
yeah, I think it's a single barrel too.
Single barrel.
Then you got the Russell's Reserve. You got that as a 10-year. You got the Eagle Rare, which is still technically a 10-year, but they're getting close to taking the notation off of the age statement. And then Scott was kind enough to bring us the Basil Hayden, so we're throwing that into the mix. Jim Beam, obviously Beam Suntory. I don't want to talk shit. I appreciate the gesture. I actually think I shit on Basil Hayden a little bit, only because of the price. We were talking about it prior to the video, and I actually really enjoy Basil Hayden. I think it's good, and I actually even told these guys I think it's going to end up being at the top of our bracket. My only issue with it sometimes is the price for what you get. And again, it's just one of those situations. But I do think it's going to end up scoring pretty high overall.
It is the lowest proof bottle that we have on the table, isn't it?
That's interesting to talk about. Yeah, so I think, Scott, you said how much proof is this?
80.
So this is 80 proof. So we got an aged 10 years. Basil Hayden's, this is 80 proof. I think the Eagle Rare comes in right around 45% ABV. So you got a 90 proof. What do we got the Russell at? 90 proof as well, so the same as the Eagle Rare, and then 100 proof. So realistically, very similar overall. Yeah. The only one that stands out is the Henry McKenna. So actually 90 proof, 90 proof, 80 proof. So these are very close. Yeah. That one's going to stand out a little bit, so we'll kind of see how that goes into play.
We're going to rank each one of these between 1 and 5. I don't think you mentioned that yet, right?
Yeah, 1 and 5. 1 through 5, and then we're going to add it up at the end. Sorry.
Yeah, we did 1 and 5 just to keep it basic, because we're no math teachers here, and then we're going to, based on that, we'll say who's the winner at the end. We're going to start with the
Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden.
Speak for yourself. I can add. I don't know about Scott.
I do not, Scott.
After this, probably not.
No, I'm
true.
For a reason.
After this, I don't know. I can add, but not subtract.
It smells great. It smells like bourbon.
Mm-hmm. So this is the Basil Hayden 10-year. See, it's got that, I was saying, sweet note, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that just got a sweet smell to it?
I even say I pick up a little cherries there on the nose. It's sweet.
Yeah, like a sweet fruit for sure. You see what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about with Scott, calling him the noob. He likes whiskey, he drinks whiskey, but we're trying to also get him to pick up on some of these notes and stuff. Do you get any of the cherry or anything like that? You see what he's talking about? Or like a fruit?
I'm still trying to...
Just like brown sugar, caramel, something like that maybe?
I'm trying to find it, because I smoke cigars, and that's kind of where my taste buds kind of try to hit the notes. But right now I'm just... I don't know if it was that last drink I had that burnt my taste buds or what.
We had him try a high proof before the video. Maybe not a good idea.
He may have broke 120 proof right before this. So.
Yeah. Might not be able to taste food for a few weeks.
It's funny because I get a little bit of the fruit on the actual palate, but like it's like dulled. So, I'm getting, it's funny, it's 80 proof, but I'm getting some of the ethanol, but not a lot.
Like cherry cough medicine.
There you go. Yeah. You know what's funny is, what was that? The Bardstown.
Yeah.
It's a lot like the Bardstown.
And this one's similar to that, but without the actual medicinal feeling that we got from the Bardstown.
Definitely get the oak. I think we're going to get oak on all of these. Yeah. It's going to be subdued on some of them, but we're going to get oak nevertheless. They're all 10-year bourbons.
They spent 10 years in a barrel.
Yeah, so once you get to that, realistically, I think once you get 8 and above, you're going to get a little bit of that oak. It's just going to get stronger as you go along, so.
I think, Ray, you're right, man. I'm getting that cherry.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely, like, cough syrup.
Yeah,
like
cough syrup, medicinal,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's pretty prominent there. It's not overly sweet, but you get the cherryness with a little bit of medicinal. There's not much on the finish for me that wasn't there right up front. It kind of is what it is.
I'm not writing my score down, I'm just writing some notes down. Interesting. All right, what are we trying next? Eagle Rare. So Eagle Rare, so we got Basil Hayden. That was your Jim Beam. Again, we try to do some of the better 10 years out there, to be honest, and your bigger hitters as far as your distilleries go. So you got the Basil Hayden 10 year, and then we're going into the Eagle Rare, which is obviously your sought after bottle from Buffalo Trace. So I'm going to start nosing that while these guys write some notes down.
All right, on to the
Interesting.
Eagle Rare.
I gotta compare that because that nose seems way different.
Yeah, it does, huh?
Yeah. It's funny. I almost thought
It definitely does.
the Eagle Rare would be oakier, but I feel like the Basil Hayden's oakier on the nose. How weird is that? But then again, 10-year, you don't know.
The
That's
Eagle Rare,
actually-
I get more of that almost like it almost smells like cologne to me.
Yeah, like perfumey.
Yeah.
It's very perfumey on the Eagle Rare, which I'm actually surprised. I thought when we were talking earlier, I was like, oh, that'll be oaky and we'll all be able to know.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, I get the cologne-ish. You're talking about.
Almost like it's meant to smell that way, like
But there it is.
there's a muskiness.
Right on the palate, though, you get that, I don't know, that Eagle Rare.
Yeah,
man.
acetone?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
little
like nail
acetone.
polish.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. It's got a strong, and that's 90 proof, but yeah, you do get like a nail polish remover like from that. But then once you taste it, that's where you get that subdued, strong, oaky barrel. But it's not it's a different type of oak. It's a little bit different. Interesting.
Similar to like a cognac.
That's one thing that Jared and I both don't know anything about.
I don't either, but
Cognac.
I've had Hennessy.
Yeah.
That's funny. We did a video, and that was the only one that we could agree on. We've all had
Yeah,
Hennessy before.
exactly. Yep. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
little
that's
flat, but it's
definitely-
not bad.
It's not
I
bad.
definitely see the
bourbon.
flatness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Brown sugar. I'm getting a little bit on the caramel there. I may have a preferred one out of the first two that we've tried so far.
Interesting.
That's good.
It's weird. The nose won out, I think, on the Eagle Rare, but I gotta say that for me, the palate might have edged out on that Basil Hayden a little bit, which is funny.
Yeah.
See, people, it's not all about this Buffalo Trace stuff. You guys are hunting this bottle down like it's God's elixir.
Yeah, wait till you smell the Russells, though. Man, it's so cool having the other 4 glasses that we have to
So we like Wild Turkey, so Russell's Reserve, I don't know if you know much about Wild Turkey, but the famed distiller for Wild Turkey is Eddie Russell. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Jimmy Russell.
Okay.
Jimmy Russell is the famed distiller. He's the dad, and then Eddie Russell is his son. He actually took over after his dad. They're both the master distillers for Wild Turkey, and this is basically their Russell's Reserve brand. So very, very similar notes to Wild Turkey. Really, Russell's is going to be very similar.
Tell me
But
that
for
doesn't
us, we
smell
get
like
sweet
warm brown
caramel.
sugar,
Yeah.
do you? Or
Brown
caramel,
sugar,
yeah.
caramels. That's what we
Oh,
get.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
sweet.
So much sweeter than the other ones.
Yeah, definitely.
Isn't it funny though? All 10 years, relatively similar proofs. Yeah.
Vanilla.
Very, very
Yeah,
different.
I
Yeah,
like
There you go.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he said that because
Yeah.
that's what we get typically out of your Wild Turkeys and your Russells. So
Okay.
I love Wild Turkey, man. I think Wild Turkey 101 is like my cheap go-to for anybody when I'm recommending it and for myself.
for the price, it's hard to beat.
And you break that 100%. Or the
I gotta
100%
say, the
proof.
nose, it was Basil Hayden for me. Now the nose is going to be Russell.
Oh,
I'm very curious
easily.
on the palate.
I mean, this is what I want my
See,
bourbon
but I
to smell
don't
like.
get the oak from that, which is, to me, in this case, I almost say, well, I don't know. It's interesting.
This is just that.
I'm just getting straight vanilla. Like
It's that sweet bourbon.
Yeah.
Man. Wild Turkey will do that. Russell. I mean, obviously this is Russell, but I mean, this will do that for you. This is that quintessential bourbon, that sweet bourbon. You know, there are other notes you can find in it, but
it's like
warm.
Definitely
smooth.
vanilla, but yeah,
Yeah,
like for me, I get I get caramel,
Vanilla
vanilla,
extract.
and like Raymond mentioned, you get like on the nose and a little bit on the palate. But right now, I don't know if these other two affected it. I'm not getting as much of the brown sugar taste, like that sweetness, but it's there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's not hitting us sweet, but that smell, man, on the nose, that's delicious.
I mean, the smell prepares you for what's coming.
Yeah.
And it's got good follow through too. I mean, it's good on the nose and it's good on the palate.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been washing in between, Ray?
Mm-hmm.
I failed.
Yeah,
I forgot.
It's all right, man. You know, there's got to be one professional here. It's me.
And it is Ray, so I actually forgot. I just thought about it right now. But we are going to go back. We're going to try these again. We're going to speed up the process a little bit, so we're going to try and make the best decision possible, even though we made a little bit of a snafu.
This one smells
Did
like
you drink some water?
Yeah.
Clears your palate a little
Yeah.
bit for this last one. So the last one, You want to talk about that one? I think you already kind of did.
Yeah, bottled bond, which means it's 100 proof. It's 10 years.
It's hard to get.
It's hard to get. It's super popular.
It's
maybe
more
for a reason.
expensive.
It's more, yeah. But man, it smells wonderful. It smells like caramel hard candies.
Yeah.
I think they're called Werther's, right? Like they're the butterscotch. Gosh.
Definitely. You don't even have to put your nose that far in.
And it's funny too because this is the highest proof too, and you
Yeah.
don't get a lot of the ethanol where you think you might versus the other ones.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, did you want to? I know we don't pick up on much of the nose with those. You wanna...
I'm still getting some of the caramels and stuff. Honestly, it's like still not a bad nose. It's very similar to me to the Russells as far as the nose goes.
Yeah, I can
It's
see
just
that.
I gotta say it's a little bit sweeter overall.
Yes.
Um,
Okay, so you're getting it then.
Yeah, I'm getting
That's-
it. Yeah, it's just a little bit sweeter.
Same thing on the palate though. I mean, I'm getting there's more of a burn, but it's like the butterscotch candies, man, the hard candies.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I did get more of a burn. I do get the sweetness. Yeah, butterscotch for sure. That's funny. I thought that I thought the Henry McKenna would taste more similar to the Russells, but it actually doesn't. In my mind, I was thinking they'd both be extra sweet. If I got to compare though, I think honestly that Basil Hayden and that Henry McKenna are very similar to me as far as the taste, if I can remember correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow, that butterscotch just comes off like right at the end there. Ooh,
Interesting.
that's good.
I'm gonna do that when we go back.
I'm gonna do that too because you just compared the Henry McKenna to the Basil Hayden's, and I'm very confused by that.
But I'm saying that just the palate, not the nose.
Okay, because the nose, no, not at all.
Just the palate, and it's just like, yeah, it's right at the edge of the palate.
Yeah, definitely. There.
All right, now I gotta go back. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of speed it up, go through, make a good decision, maybe taste these a little bit more, and then we'll come back with you guys and we'll give you guys our overall scores and what we thought about each bottle. Okay?
I am wasted. This is fucking award, man.
We're back.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Sorry
I don't
for
care
the long
what
one. We wanted
awards
to
you
make a
won
quick
before
decision.
now.
So we've actually got our winner. We got our first and second place, and then I think we've got a tie.
We've got a tie for the losers.
Yeah, but we've got a tie actually at third. So
No, we've got a tie for the last place.
well, third. Even
Oh,
though
okay,
there's 4
fair enough.
bottles,
Okay,
it's
yes.
a tie.
Yeah.
Again, not great at math.
Get with the show.
Here's the evidence.
So what do we got, Raymond? You can start going through them. What's the grand
okay.
winner?
I'm going to start with the losers.
Okay, yeah, good.
okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Basil Hayden and the Eagle Rare came at the bottom for us.
Mhm.
They both averaged out at an 8 out of a high possible score of 15.
Yeah.
Highest possible score of 15.
So these two right here, basically third place. Tied
For
for
me,
third place.
the Basil Hayden's, and I mean, I just found it boring, man. It just was flat to me. It was kind of one note almost all the way through. We got that cherry medicine in there, and that's fun and all, but there wasn't enough to it to really stand out to me. And then
Gotcha.
for me, I mean, just to move on to the Eagle Rare, which, tied with it. It's bourbon, it's fine, it's good, but again, nothing really stood out to me like the other two did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about them a little bit?
Yeah, with the basil, it interested me because it was sweet as it progressed. So like every sip that I took, it got a little sweeter to me. That's why I went with the 3.
And it was a good place to start at, too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Being
definitely,
at
definitely.
80%, near 80 proof.
Yeah.
We did start low and went high.
Yeah. And with the Eagle, I think that acetone that I was getting off the nose, and it just, I'd go Buffalo Trace.
That's
Yeah,
right.
over
Yeah.
Eagle Rare.
And you guys talked
good
about
point.
the nail
Yeah.
polish remover a lot.
Yeah.
And
And that's a good point too, mentioning just a regular old Buffalo Trace, where this bottle, I mean, a Buffalo Trace, even the regular is getting sought after. For me, it was kind of tough because originally the nose on the Eagle Rare I thought might have been a little bit better. As I went back, I actually think the Basil Hayden beat out for me on the nose. The palates were both muted. They're very similar.
Mhm.
Both of them I got oak. Raymond, I think, mentioned like flat soda at one point, and I get it. It's 80 proof, so it is a little flatter, but I got about the same amount of oak. Again, neither of them are bad, but for me, again, comparatively, not the greatest. But yeah, I mean, I kind of in the same boat. And yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying as far as the acetone. When you mentioned that, it was funny. It was kind of like a light bulb in my head. I couldn't get it out of my head after that.
And I think that was my issue with it too. You might want to edit this out. I don't know, but Lauren's family's from Tennessee. My wife, her, I think it was her cousin or something like that, was the first person to carry Buffalo Trace in their store.
Really?
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So
you heard it here, folks. We're not editing that.
Little side note. Man.
Little side note.
Yeah.
That's really cool because I love Buffalo Trace, man.
Kingston, Tennessee, man. I think is where it might be somewhere around that area.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We love Buffalo Trace. We shit on Eagle Rare right now, but we actually overall love Buffalo Trace product.
Yeah. Right.
We actually didn't shit on it, though.
Yeah.
All right, so we move on to second place. Second place was Russell's. Fucking great. We love Wild Turkey here.
My first place, but
that's true. He was the only one to put it in first, and I don't blame him at all. I love Russell's. It's quintessential bourbon. The reason it didn't take it for me, and this is going to surprise even me, is it was just a little too sweet. For me, the Henry McKenna was just underneath. I mean, it gave me what I wanted.
I agree with what you're saying, though. It was sweeter. It was sweeter, and it's not why I picked it, but I thought the Henry McKenna was gonna be sweeter, and I was surprised when I got to the Henry McKenna. That's why I was saying the Henry McKenna to me. Sorry to interrupt, but I felt like the palate was similar to the Basil Hayden because I expected it to be way sweeter. When we did that one single barrel challenge, I felt like it was the sweetest thing on the table.
That's fair. I do remember us calling out the sweetness there.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny to me how that worked out. I don't know why.
Was there anything about the Russells that stood out to you when you?
I got that vanilla extract.
Straight
off your nose is vanilla extract.
Is what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and even off the taste, and I think that's kind of why I went a little bit lower than the McKenna. I'm a butterscotch flavored guy, so that stole the show.
It's good.
Yeah,
cool.
It was.
So I think you and I are actually very similar on that too. Then, because with the Henry McKenna, I got enough of the sweetness, enough of the butterscotch, the flavor from it, but it was a little bit spicier too, man. I got some more of that burn that I kind of look for sometimes. I mean, I love the sweetness. I really do. I mean, Wild Turkey is one of my favorite things, and it's because of how sweet it can be. But the Henry McKenna, which again, still surprises me to this day, but I loved it.
Yeah, the Henry McKenna is really, really good, and I totally agree with what you're saying on that. I guess for me, honestly, I guess in this taste off, in this little party we got going on, I got a lot of that oak, and then this gave me a little bit of that sweet, so it was something new, and a little bit, it stood out to me. So I think that was the big difference, where, again, believe it or not, even at 80 proof, I got the oak at that 10 years. You definitely get the oak with this, there's no denying it. And surprisingly, I totally agree. I was really surprised because I thought this would be the sweetest thing on the table, and this ended up being the sweetest thing on the table. But yeah, for me, it was close. Obviously, I gave this a 5. I gave that a 4, so it was very close between the two. But I mean, I'm definitely Henry McKenna, man. It just continues to surprise all the way around. Like that is one hell of a
it surprises us. Apparently, it surprises nobody else because it wins all the awards.
Yeah, it surprises. That's what I mean, though. It surprises everybody all the time. Like this bottle has gotten its little notoriety and fame because it's great and what's in it. We were talking about it earlier. Bottled and bond, single barrel, 100 proof, 10 years. Like, what else could you do?
It's got everything going.
It's got everything going for it. So.
Now, to finish off here, we've got this long-standing rule where the new guy at the table has to finish off all the glasses. So
12.
We're
10.
Stick with
1,
that,
2,
right?
3. The record is 10 seconds, so let's see what happens. Go. Chug.
Yeah.
No, guys, fun video. Scott, thank you. It was great.
Thank
It was
you,
really
guys.
fun time.
Yep.
I hope you guys check it out. Drink safe, drink responsibly.
Like, comment, subscribe, bell thing, all that.
Cheers, guys.
See you next time. Cheers.
Thanks.
Salud.